2 days ago, millions of people watched some of the most expensive advertising in the world. We saw big ideas, there were big budgets, and big creative swings. And if you love good creative, as I do, the Super Bowl is absolutely fascinating to watch. It's a celebration of imagination, risk, and cultural relevance. And now that it's over, something quieter is happening. Thousands of business owners are using AI tools to write ads, posts, and sales pages, hoping for the same magic. But here's the problem. The Super Bowl didn't prove creativity wins. It proved attention can be bought. And attention has never been easier to manufacture. You can automate it, scale it, and promote it. If only attention was actually the goal. But it's not, and it's time to end the attention myth. Welcome to Brand for Good, the show for purpose-driven leaders who want to build timeless brands and create sustainable impact. I'm Lorraine Sugart, former PR and marketing executive turned founder of the disruptive agency Prosper for Purpose. I've worked with some of the world's most beloved brands, and I'm here to help you elevate your brand identity, visibility, influence, and impact. Are you ready to brand for good? Let's go. This is Brand for Good, where I talk about how to build a category of one brand. If you're new here, welcome. Today, I want to talk about why we need to officially retire what I call the attention myth and what has to replace it. But first, let's take a look at how we got here. For about the past 5 years, marketers have been telling leaders, be louder, which translates to more content, more platforms, be bolder with your messaging and your visuals, and be memorable, whatever it takes. And that works in certain markets and in a specific economy. For example, it works when you sell soda, snacks, or mass market products, like most of those advertised during the Super Bowl. In that economy, memorability is the job. But most businesses listening to this podcast are not operating there. You're not competing for shelf space. You're not buying cultural moments. And you're definitely not trying to be talked about for 30 seconds. You're operating in a trust economy. And here's the critical distinction. In a mass market economy, attention creates opportunity. In a trust economy, attention without credibility creates resistance. That's why so many leaders are confused right now. They're applying mass market logic to relationship-based businesses and wondering why it's not working. Most of you are just not fighting for attention. You're fighting for belief. Belief that you understand your prospect's problem, you see the nuance, you're credible, and you're worth the investment. And belief is not created through spectacle. It's created through clarity. And this is where I see most marketing breaking down right now. Now let's talk for a minute about AI, clearly and honestly. AI did not ruin marketing, and I know it didn't ruin copywriting. What it did was remove friction, and friction serves an important role. Here's the cause. Writing used to take effort. Effort forced thinking. Thinking forced decisions. Brands had to decide what they stood for, who they were for, and what they believed. The effect of AI is that it removes effort. You can publish instantly. You can generate endlessly. But when effort disappears, thinking often disappears with it. And that brings us to the cost. What we're seeing now isn't just bad writing, it's brands without meaning. Let that sink in. This cost shows up as weak positioning, generic language, misaligned offers, and fear-based urgency posing as strategy. Research consistently shows that human written content still drives more traffic, keeps people on the page longer, and generates higher engagement. This is not because it's clever, but because humans don't just process words. They interpret intent. AI can generate language. It cannot generate conviction, position, or beliefs. And conviction is what makes prospects think, this feels right. This sounds like someone who understands my world. That's the difference. Are you tracking with me? This isn't just my opinion. Multiple industry studies comparing human-written and AI-generated content show that human-crafted copy drives significantly higher engagement and keeps readers on the page longer because people don't just read words, they read intent. Now, here's another shift I want you to pay attention to. Your buyers are tired. They're exhausted by artificial urgency, manufactured pain, and emotional manipulation. They don't want to be pressured. They want confidence, perspective, proof, and direction. And this is why I have been talking more about calls to value, not calls to action. Calls to action assume motivation exists. Calls to value create motivation by answering why this matters, why this solution fits, and why this investment makes sense. Modern buyers are sophisticated. They know when they're being pushed, don't you? And they're increasingly drawn to brands that don't need to do this. And here's where professional writing becomes an investment, not a cost. A professional writer doesn't just choose words. They remove friction from buyers' thinking. They help the buyer feel clear instead of confused, confident instead of rushed, intelligent instead of sold. That emotional experience is the ROI, not the clicks, not the likes. Those are vanity metrics. The real ROI is confidence and trust. This is also why, even among professionals who actively use AI, research shows deep concern about trust, ethics, and oversight. People value the tool, they don't trust it to lead, because leadership requires judgment, and judgment is human. There's one more shift worth naming here, and that is long-form thinking is back. And this is not because we've all gotten nostalgic about blogs, but because machines now reward meaning. And that's a good thing for people who are serious about the content that they're putting out in the world. Over the past year, search and content research has shown that depth, original synthesis, and clear point of view are now stronger authority signals than volume. Long-form content is regaining popularity, from essays and blogs to deep point of view content on Substack and other platforms. AI searches don't reward volume. They reward original synthesis. Search engines increasingly prioritize clear thinking, coherent ideas, and distinct points of view. Length isn't the advantage, although you may think it is. Depth is. And depth can't be prompted. Depth requires someone who understands the business, the market, and the moment. So if you've been listening and thinking, my copy isn't bad, but it's not doing what I need it to do, that may be a writing problem, but it's also a strategy problem. This is why treating writing as a commodity is becoming increasingly expensive, because attention expires as soon as the game ends, but credibility accumulates. So here's what I hope you'll take away from today's episode. You are not part of the attention economy. You are part of the belief economy. And brands that don't understand that won't fail because they lack content. They will fail because they lack conviction, coherence, and credibility. And AI accelerates that failure if strategy isn't leading. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Brand for Good show. If you like what you heard, please hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and leave a review so other purpose-driven leaders can find this valuable content. To learn more about building a brand for good, please visit prosperforpurpose.com for more resources and information on all the ways you can work with us.